Hello YouTubers, it's been a while since I've last done a video, but I'm here for you today with a new video, a Naval Warfare Arctic Circle and Fleet Command comparison video. Both of these are realistic naval simulations. Naval Warfare Arctic Circle is a recently released game by Paradox Games that simulates modern naval combat, realistic naval combat in the Arctic Circle in about 2030, and I'm comparing this game with Fleet Command, an old game by Jane's Combat Simulations released in around 1999 with an improved version released in 2006, and I'm going to compare and contrast the two games and give my opinion on both of them, because I consider myself pretty well interested in naval warfare simulators, and I've played Fleet Command for a long time, and this game has recently come along, so I've been wanting to compare it to Fleet Command and also Dangerous Waters, which is another simulation game, but it's not like a Fleet Command style game. It's more like a individual unit style command game. So I'm just comparing and contrasting the games and referencing each other. So let's get into it. All right, I'll start with the Naval War Arctic Circle footage here. As you can see, you have the map kind of thing, and there's the like the graphics are pretty good. Like right there, you can see that like that carrier Nimitz class is pretty decently modeled. And I mean, the UI is not bad. So I'll just start right off here by launching an aircraft, and you launch it right there, and you notice that okay, well, where's the animation? Why does it just magically come out of the deck like that? Like, what is this? I mean, I don't think it should do that. Really, why does it just magically come out of the deck like that? Should the aircraft really be doing that? I mean, shouldn't the aircraft have a launch animation of it coming off of the deck and onto the catapult and catapulting off? Like, that's something that I would expect from a game in 2012. Like, why does it not do that? But anyways, besides that though, like, the graphics are not bad. Like, I mean, for a 2012 game, they're okay, but like they could be better, that's for sure. I mean, obviously I understand that this game is only around 20 bucks and it's pretty inexpensive and whatnot, but like the graphics, they're just not very good. Like the models are well done, but everything else is just not very up to par for a 2012 game in my humble opinion. The game itself though is very, very realistic. Like everything is realistically simulated, the sensors, the weapons, and it is definitely up to a Fleet Command standard in my opinion, if not better. Like it has modern weapons and they're pretty much all realistic and all up to real, like how they are in real life. So this, like the combat and gameplay is very realistically well simulated. Here you can launch all your aircraft with different loadouts and you can set them at different heights, different altitudes, different speeds, but all of that is expected in a naval warfare simulator, of course. I mean, it's not really anything if you can just do that like that. And right there I kind of changed altitude and it looked okay. Like, I mean, not the greatest thing in the world, but like a lot of the time when you change altitudes in planes, they will just go straight up. Like, and they're not even a VTOL plane, they just go straight up. Like that, in my opinion, that just looks retarded. That should not be happening. So right here, I'm turning on all the sensors on my naval task group. I mean, normally you have what's called EMCON, where you have all the sensors off, so no one detects you, but in this case I've done this mission before, and the objective is to to destroy incoming enemy backfire bombers before they destroy your fleet. You have to go and intercept them and detect them, and you have some P-8 Poseidon and ASW aircraft looking out for enemy submarines, and I launched an E-3 Sentry AWACS aircraft and some F-35s onto the continent of Greenland over there, because I know that's where the backfire bombers, the Russian backfire bombers, which are anti-ship bombers with long-range cruise missiles, I know that's where they'll be coming from. So yeah, and I've turned up the time compression. This game offers time compression, of course, and right there I know there's an enemy airfield in Iceland, so I decided to launch some Tomahawk missiles in, and as you can see the missiles launched there. Okay, they look not bad. And right here, and then you launch them, and these are the missiles. They look not too bad. I mean, like, they're kind of inside of each other. I don't really think they should be doing that, but whatever. The missiles look not too bad, but now, as long as those missiles are in the air, this annoying-ass music will play over and over again, the do kind of thing. And I mean, that's okay, but I don't know. It gets annoying after a while, trust me. Especially because these scenarios drag on for a long time. Oh, and I also might add, you can't save these scenarios. What game doesn't have a saving feature in 2012? I'm sorry. Like, that's just not, like that's just stupid. Anyway, I'm launching some aircraft from Canadian Forces Base Goose Bay there, and I have some Tupolev, there's detected some Tupolev backfire bombers, and these have some really good models. Like that right there, that's a sexy model. I'll give you that much. They spent some effort into modeling that backfire bomber and making it look good, so I'll give them that. But I'm going to send over my F-35 to try and intercept him. He doesn't have the sensors on right now, and I know these backfire bombers don't have any escorts anyway, so that's perfectly fine with me. And I know I'm kind of like getting into this here, and if you don't like know what any naval warfare, like if you know nothing about naval warfare, like any sensors or any weapons, then yeah, this game is going to be like a shock to you. I mean, I know a lot about all the weapons and sensors. Kind of the same thing with war game. Like if you know nothing about the Cold War, and you just go try to play war game, you're probably not going to know what the fuck is going on. But right here, you know, I have an idea. So right here, I know for a fact that the enemy has some Sukhoi Scat unmanned UCAVs, unmanned aerial combat vehicles, and they just launched some anti-radiation AS-31, AS-17, KH-31, AS-17 Krypton missiles, and unfortunately all the missiles in the game look like harpoons, even though the missile in reality does not look like that. They all look like harpoons. I don't know why. That's a placeholder. So, but except the SM2 right there, like they do a good job of modeling those. But anyway, right here, I'll show you the missile launch animations in a second here. When you fire, like, that's what they look like. Okay, that looks okay, but the missile just kind of magically comes out of the launch, like it just launches up, and then the missile itself doesn't even actually follow the animation of where the missile comes from. So right there, it looks okay, but I can tell you for a fact that the missile doesn't really launch like that. It launches more vertical, and then it turns a little bit more once in flight, but I'm not really going to complain about that. It's okay, and it gets the job done. But I find that a lot for when it comes to defending your carrier group from incoming missiles, a lot of the time, like even if you set your carrier group to automatically shoot at all incoming cleared targets, a lot of the time they won't actually do it, and you'll have to like clear or have to repeatedly click on it. Right there, I destroyed the missile, but it kind of lingers in the air for a second, and there's no explosion. Like, why does that happen? Why does the missile just like linger in midair even after I've destroyed it? That should not happen. Like, I don't know why they couldn't fix that. But yeah, like the carrier groups usually do an okay job of defending themselves against missiles, but sometimes I find they really don't do their job. And like they don't like shoot the missiles. I have to order them to do it, and then they don't shoot enough missiles, and then the phalanx system they don't even use. It's completely useless. And then once the missiles get past a certain area or whatever, you're basically screwed because they don't use their phalanx systems properly, and they don't launch the SM2 missiles in like the right way. And yeah, so right here I'm just ordering my F-35 to go over to and engage those backfire bombers. He's almost within AMRAM range, AIM-120D AMRAM. Another thing I'm not certain is, in real life, if the F-35 can really carry 6 or 8 AMRAM missiles internally in the weapons bay. I can tell you for certain, I'm pretty sure it cannot hold 6 AMRAMs in the weapons bay internally. I think it can hold maybe 3 AIM-120D variant AMRAMs, which have the extended body. I'm pretty sure in real life it can hold maybe 2, maybe 3 internally, and the rest would have to be externally, which it obviously increases the radar signature of the aircraft. But in this game, for some reason, they can hold 8 AMRAM missiles internally, which I do not think is accurate, but maybe it is. I don't know. From what I've read on the real literature on the F-35, that it can only hold around 3 or 4 AMRAMs internally or something like that, and those are the C variant, which are not even as big as the D variant, so I don't know if that's completely accurate or not. But then again, it's kind of unknown as to what the aircraft can really do. I mean, Lockheed Martin is really kind of like, they don't even know what they're doing, in my opinion, so no one really knows the real specifications of the aircraft. And I'm gonna be doing a live action video on like the F-35 JSF, because it's a really big issue in both Canada and the United States right now. And they say that the Canadian government is wasting exorbitant amounts of money trying to buy the F-35, and it's become a really big political issue. Everybody's getting mad at the Harper government for wasting the money, but in my opinion, it's not necessarily the Harper government's fault. I think it's more of the Lockheed Martin itself. But oh yeah, and then right there I launched a missile, and as you can see, the missile animation was kind of retarded. Like, it just kind of made a little flash over the wing, and then the missile just kind of magically appears. You don't even see it anymore. No one really knows where it goes. I mean, I don't really know. Right here I click on the missile. Okay, the missile itself doesn't look too bad. Oh, right there, it's kind of a glitch. Sorry, I don't even know why that happens again. But yeah, you click on the missile. If it shows ever, okay, no, I just get a black screen again. Oh, Jesus, okay. Oh, okay, here we go. Right here, okay, yeah. You see the missile. Yeah, okay, it looks not too bad. Like, that's okay for a missile. I mean, I don't know. The backfires now, they're going full afterburner. They're going about 2,300 kilometers an hour, so they're going about Mach 2 or whatever in the opposite direction to try and outrun the missile, which they do quite frequently, because, I don't know, they're usually launched hammers at max range, and if they afterburn in the opposite direction, they can typically dodge my missiles, which they do, and that's accurate. I would consider that possible. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. But yeah, back to the whole Lockheed Martin thing. Everybody's blaming the Harper conservative government for wasting money and not knowing the full cost. But you know what? It's not necessarily Harper and Peter MacKay's fault. Although I'm sorry, I don't really trust Peter MacKay. I think he's completely unqualified to be Defense Minister of Canada. I don't think that he really has any military knowledge or experience whatsoever. I mean, I trust General Narycka, or whatever his name is, the Chief of Defense of Canada, the Walter, and he's Polish, or I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry, but I trust him more because at least he's a military man. Peter MacKay doesn't have any military knowledge. He doesn't even work in intelligence. But besides that, I think that it's more Lockheed Martin in the US feeding the conservative government faulty information about pricing, because I don't even think Lockheed themselves know about what the pricing of the F-35 is good, what it's going to cost 10 years down the line. But for some reason, all the Canadian people expects the Harper government to know this, when in reality, Lockheed Martin themselves probably don't even know, and they're supplying the Harper government with faulty information. So that's what I think. Anyway, right here, I have an AMRAAM missile about to impact this backfire, hopefully. I don't really know, because the missiles, a lot of the time, they phase out or they get flared, and yeah, right there, and missed, or run out of fuel or whatever. So I'm gonna tell him to engage some more. He's already used about 6 of his AMRAAMs up. I mean, this mission itself is not too difficult. I'll tell you right now, this game is some really difficult missions. Like, there's, I mean, this one, I think it's called, it's like where you have to land, I think it's, yeah, like 2 different landing groups on, like, on Norway or whatever, and it's basically impossible because they come at you with like 50 billion bombers with anti-ship missiles and like 1,000 friggin' they have like a Kirov class Peter the Great shooting at you, and then you have like 50 things shooting at you. Basically, you don't have enough aircraft and missiles to defend yourself against all this crap. So then, if you manage to beat that mission, you're basically a champ, or rather a fleet command master in that regard. So. But yeah, I mean, there's really no submarines in this mission. They just give you a bunch of stupid P3 or P8 aircraft to like do some random bullshit. I don't even know. Like, honestly, there's a lot of mistakes with this game. There's actually a few mistakes when it comes to like weapon accuracy and whatnot. But honestly, if you go on the forums and like post and say so and so is wrong, I think it should be this, which I have actually done, the developer of the game will actually go on the forum and be like, oh, okay, sorry, we'll fix it right away. So it's actually good to have accountable developers for once, who are actually like paying attention to everything that you say, so that you could basically correct them and correct any issues with the game right away, which is actually nice, because most of the time the developers really don't give a shit about you. Like, I mean, if you posted a question about like Call of Duty criticizing the game or pointing out a flaw, nobody would give a shit about you because the devs don't even read that forum. But with a game like this, they actually seem to care, which is good, in my opinion. I mean, if the same thing with Wargame, European Escalation, which I'll be doing another video on shortly, the mods, or the developers for that game, actually browse the forum relatively frequently, so that's really nice to see. And I mean, this game is pretty indie and pretty hipster. I mean, I bet you if I asked anybody I knew in real life what this game was, no one would have a fucking clue what it is. I mean, it's completely like hipster and completely indie, and it has a lower budget than like Fleet Command. So Fleet Command was developed by Jane's Combat Simulations, which was a part of EA at the time, so they had a pretty big budget and a somewhat big following, but it was still like a pretty indie game. But this game is like almost as indie as you can get, to be honest with you. It's like a military simulator of naval warfare in the Arctic Circle. I mean, to be honest with you, it's even more hipster than Men of War, for Christ's sake, and that game is pretty goddamn like obscure as it is. So right there, I shot down the backfire bomber. Unfortunately, I didn't get to show you the animation of it, so, but whatever. I mean, a lot of this game is going to be spent on this map, and I mean, a lot of the game is obviously like plain gameplay, not like the animations. So maybe like a lot of people are gonna probably yell at me and say, oh, the game isn't about the animations, it's not about the 3D, you know, it's just about commanding your units, and the 3D is just added in. Well, I know this, but I'm gonna show you in a few minutes here the video of Fleet Command. And Fleet Command is from 1999. That's 13 friggin' years ago. Well, 2006 is 6 years ago if you want to use the updated version, but it's really not even that much updated, so I can't really say that. But, I mean, like, from a game from 13 years or even 6 years ago, the graphics should be improved, and they should be up to date and, like, good, and, like, the animations should be up to par for a 2012 game. That's just something that I expect from a game in 2012. And I know, again, this developer didn't have the biggest budget. It's a pretty indie game, but I still expect things from a game in 2012. And, I mean, this game does a pretty good job, but, again, I will show you the Fleet Command and Dangerous Waters footage in a few minutes here, and I'll let you compare for yourself about how the games compare in that regard. So right here I'm sending over my F-35 to intercept those backfire bombers, which just kind of run away and repeatedly come back, and they never actually attack because I don't even know why. Maybe they're not in missile range or some shit, I don't really know. But yeah, and yeah, they also have a few. Yeah, those are pretty much all backfire bombers, even those unknowns. I basically know that right here. I tell more F-35s to take off from the Theodore Roosevelt, and yeah, so basically just kind of waiting around and shooting at, going to shoot at these backfire bombers, and pretty much. So yeah, yeah, right there I fire my missiles, and then we've been detected by an active sensor. When that pops up, you know that the enemy is illuminating their radar and they'll be able to see you. So yeah, right there when my F-35s crashed because I forgot to manage him because he ran out of fuel and I gave him another order, apparently. So, but yeah, pretty much, I mean, that's basically, yeah, so I'm speeding up the time too because I don't want, like, it just takes way too long. I fired like 8 AMRAAMs at this guy. If he doesn't blow up, I swear to God. So yeah, right here, I'm trying to get a view from the missile animation for you. Yeah, and right there I hit him. It didn't really make a sound, and it made like an okay kind of explosion noise, and kind of thing just kind of falls into the ground. I mean, it should have a sound, and it really doesn't. And I mean, the animation is kind of subpar. And but the AMRAAM missiles are like turning at ridiculous rates like this. I don't think that's possible. But then again, the missile just follows behind the aircraft. Oh yeah, and then right there it gets hit. But for one, I can tell you that AMRAAM missiles don't do that. They don't just follow behind an enemy bomber like that. That's not how they work. They either go in, and if they basically miss the aircraft, and then they're basically done. I don't think they're capable of coming around for another pass or following behind an aircraft. Because for one, these missiles go 5,000 kilometers an hour. They're not going to friggin', they don't have the maneuverability or the time to turn and like that and follow behind an enemy aircraft. Because the enemy aircraft is not going to be going faster than the missile. That's just plain physics. I'm sorry, but yeah, so I'm launching more AMRAAMs. This entire mission is basically about aerial interceptions. I'm sorry, there's not really a whole lot of naval warfare in this friggin' game, in this particular mission, so maybe it's not that indicative about intercepting things. But when you go to intercept subs, you basically have to send out an anti-submarine aircraft and put sonobuoys like all over the fucking place and hope to God that you find the enemy sub. Right there, all my Tomahawk missiles, all 18 of them somehow just got shot down in about half a second. I had no idea how that happened, and probably will never figure out why that happened either, but all 18 Tomahawks were gone. And then I was trying to launch Tomahawks from this group because they have about 50 Tomahawks, but apparently it's too far away either. And the Tomahawk only has a range of like about 900 miles, so apparently that's further than that. I mean, that's from Greenland to Iceland. That's pretty fucking far, so I guess that's just the way it works. Whatever, I'm not really going to complain about that. I know the Tomahawk missile has a max range of around 1,000 miles, so that's probably more than 1,000 miles considering that's from all the way over there to Iceland, so whatever. But yeah, when you find submarines, it's a really pain in the ass, and you have to like look around. Oh yeah, I'm firing a Sidewinder at one of those bombers right now. Or actually, that's a fighter. That's a Sukhoi T-50 Pak-Cafe that I'm shooting at, a Russian stealth fighter. And I fired some Sidewinder missiles, which look like AMRAAM missiles. Again, that's kind of a mistake. The Sidewinder missiles do not look like that. And I hope that they hit, but they probably won't. And they do like this weird searching pattern bullshit thing, and they slow down and magically turn. Again, missiles cannot do this in real life, and then it just kind of hangs in midair after getting flared and disappearing and such. So, alright, okay, why is it happening? Right there, boom. Okay, I hit him. Yeah, he died, and the missile still sits there again. Okay. Anyway, oh yeah, my bad. This is a new mission now. I got bored of the other one because it really wasn't showing you shit. This one is a little more appropriate when it comes to showing the naval warfare. Like in this scenario, the objective is to hunt down the enemy carrier battle group, I think. Oh yeah, and then right here, I actually switched footage again. This one is actually of a submarine engagement. So right here, my submarine is within range of an enemy carrier battle group, or not a carrier group, but a cruiser group of like the Peter the Great, Slava, and a few other things. And I fired a shitload of torpedoes at him and a bunch of harpoon missiles. And here's a torpedo. They look not too bad. Fired a whole bunch of harpoon missiles and Tomahawk missiles, or anti-ship Tomahawk missiles, which tactical Tomahawks, which you can use against ships, and harpoon missiles and whatnot. And Mark 48 torpedoes, and I'm firing those as fast as I can. And yeah, this is actually the same mission as I was talking about before. You have to destroy the enemy carrier group, but you don't even, to be honest, with those two submarines, you don't even need like all this other shit that they give you. You only need the submarine to like fire torpedoes. That's it. So anyway, I'm firing this Admiral Sergei Gorshukov class destroyer, and he's firing some Grumble missiles at me. The AI does a pretty good job of intercepting the missiles, but to be honest with you, I think they could do a better job, and they really don't. Considering I think in real life these missiles might not get through, but you know, that's just like they're pretty close by. So again, here the same old, every unit in the game uses the same missile and launch animation regardless of the type of missile you use, which again I think is kind of sloppy, but who am I to judge? And then right here, I'm actually going to do a close-in of this missile as it streaks towards these ships. So yeah, right there you can see the missiles are kind of launching off. This is pretty cool right here. Like, this is does a pretty good job of conveying the naval warfare to me. And right here, like, you see the missiles like, oh, it's about to hit, it's about to hit, it's about to hit, oh shit, he's fucked. And then the phalanx right now will probably blow it up, but okay, the phalanx in this game is useless, as I've said. Right there, boom, it hits. So yeah, that's kind of a lackluster explosion, unfortunately, but he's basically 100% damaged at this point, 5% health. I mean, the model is not visibly damaged. In my opinion, there should be like a fire, and it really isn't. Oh, right there, a phalanx actually did fire, so what am I saying? Yes, the phalanx did work, but yeah, the model, in my opinion, should become visibly damaged, but again, it just kind of smokes and looks exactly the fucking same as it did before. Why? I don't know, but that's just the way it works. So then, at this point, all I really have is my torpedoes to use. And right now, okay, I'm launching harpoon missiles from this submarine now at the enemy carrier group. And he's not within torpedo range, unfortunately. But he is within harpoon range, so I'm going to launch a whole bunch of harpoons, as many as I can at him. And hope for the best, and then hopefully the torpedoes will be able to clean up the rest of the group. So, yeah, this mission is kind of designed in the way in which you kind of just have to hope to intercept them with your subs, and then maybe you can get... But you are way over-equipped in this mission. Like, you're given like a carrier battle group and like 2 Baham L8 Wasp class amphibious landing ships, and like a whole bunch, and 2 air bases full of shit. So I mean, you're really like over equipped to win this mission. I mean, it's one of the easier ones, I mean, at least in my opinion. So right here, I'm just launching all these torpedoes, and they go at about 100 kilometers an hour, which is pretty accurate. And he's launching all of his Inca SAMs to shoot down my big ass amount of harpoons that I've launched, which is understandable. And I'm going to see right now if my P8 Poseidons, if they're in harpoon range. They are not. And I'm actually getting worried because he has a whole bunch of Sukhoi T-50s in the area. And right here, I'm shooting Grumbles at my harpoons. And it's going to shoot them down, probably a fair bit of them, I think, anyway. I'm trying to look at the Grumble missile right here, and it looks... Okay, the Grumble missile looks like an AMRAAM. Again, that's wrong. It does not look like that. So, yeah, the developers got pretty lazy with the missile models. I don't know why, but... Again, that is something I should expect that it would be different, but yeah, I don't know, it just really isn't. So they just used around like 3 or 4 missile models. I don't know why, but not really a problem. I mean, I think it's kind of, I just think it's sloppy, and that they should have specific missile models. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know, but that's just the way it works. So they're shooting a shitload of SAMs and trying to shoot down all my harpoons, and I think they actually succeed. I keep trying to speed up the game, but I keep having new detections in that regard. So whenever you have a new detection or a missile launch, it automatically puts the game back to 1 times speed. So, yeah, I mean, if you've watched Total Biscuit's review, I know he's done a review on this game. He's obviously going to get more views than I will, just because that's the way it works. He does a pretty good job of explaining the game, but he doesn't really know a whole lot about naval warfare either. I mean, I would consider myself a little more knowledgeable in that regard. So yeah, right there, a Sukhoi T-50 shot down one of my E3 Sentries because I don't have my radars in this group on. Well, the E3 Sentry did have his radar on, but the radar isn't good enough to detect the stealthy Sukhoi T-50 until it gets really close, so he crept up and blew the shit out of my E3, unfortunately. And, you know, because, you know, in this game, stealthy aircraft, it's really hard to detect them even with big radars like the E3 Sentry's AN/APY-1. So until they get close, I mean, you can rely on IR detection, which is pretty much 100% accurate. Like, once they get close enough, you can detect them with infrared sensors or IRST. Yeah, I'm looking right there. They're detected with the IR sensor, not the radar. And IR is much more, like, once they get within about 50 miles, you can detect them with IR. But beyond that, you're relying on radar. And then again, stealthier aircraft, radar will not work on them, so will not really detect them. So again, he's launching more Grumbles at me, and you get this annoying ass music playing whenever there's a missile in the air and or a torpedo in the water. It just plays over and over and over and over again. Holy shit. And yeah, there's one harpoon left right there, and I'm just, yeah, he shot down all my harpoons, which I expected, to be honest with you. The only reason he didn't even shoot down all my tomahawks from the other submarine is because I launched them from like 2 feet away from him, which, I mean, that's a valid attack. If you got your subs close enough and launched all your anti-ship missiles at him in real life when he was like 2 feet away from you, the enemy time would not have a very long time to react, and that's just how it would work. That's a realistic tactic. I mean, in the Cold War, I'm pretty sure the Soviet subs would want to get as close as they could to the US carrier groups. And right there, my torpedoes are actually starting to hit. I damaged the Slava with a torpedo, and I'll show you right here. This is actually good. Like right here, you see the torpedo coming in like this, and that's actually pretty cool. Like this is good. You see this? Oh, any second now. Oh, he's can't run from a torpedo. Like, you're basically fucked. There's nothing you can do against a torpedo in this game, and boom, I sunk him. Boom. That's $1 bajillion Russian cruiser dead. And now the rest of these torpedoes, once this torpedo hits, I should win the mission because I only have to blow up 2 of the enemy. 2. Oh, well, actually, apparently a torpedo decoy got rid of him. But for some reason in this mission, even though you have like enough friggin' missiles to like destroy the entire Russian Navy, you only have to destroy 2 of their group. I don't know why. For some reason, that's just the way it works. In my opinion, to make the mission harder, you would. And then right there, I won. Just like that, I basically won the game, even though I didn't even use half of my fucking units, and there we go. Alright, so right now, I'm getting into the fleet command now. As you can see, fleet command is way different. Like, it uses the real NATO symbols, real NATO style symbols. The models are okay. This is actually a custom model from a mod that I installed. And right here, you have voices. Like, when you order someone around, oh, they actually talk to you. What a concept. And this is a bit old. Like, this is a Ronald Reagan. The simulation is, I think, 90s, so it still uses the F-14. And right here, okay, the graphics are pretty good. That's a decently modeled F-14, and there's the sound of the engines are there, and it uses the real NATO symbols. Here's an Arleigh Burke class cruiser. There's actually wake and propellers, ooh, which again is something that the other game does not have. Okay, that's an unknown ship, but yeah, it uses real NATO symbols, and it uses a much more like a compact UI where everything, it has the 3D window in the middle, and everything is taught to you in the right side information window, and then it uses the NATO symbols, which are realistic, and then yeah, and use right click to do everything. And right here, as you can see, I'm launching an E2 Hawkeye off the deck, and look, oh my god, there's deck animations. The aircraft actually has to move up, that's an E2 Hawkeye, has to move up off the deck onto the catapult and be launched. What a concept. Why can't Naval Warfare Arctic Circle do that? This is a game from fucking 2006 or 1999, whatever way you look at it, and it has goddamn carrier animations. Why can't Naval Warfare have this? Why? Like, I just don't understand why it cannot have that. So anyway, yeah, I'm sorry, this will take a little while here, but the aircraft it's going to make its way onto the deck and onto the catapult, and then it will launch itself off in a minute or 2 here. And that's it. Yeah, I need to talk. And the carrier looks pretty good. Again, that's a user made that. This is a mod for the game. That's not standard. A user made that model, so it's a pretty good model for being user made. Oh, and that's the other thing. Fleet Command is a very moddable game, but I don't Naval War at this point. I do not know the modification potential of that game. I'm hoping that it's there, but I can't really say for sure if it's not. So yeah, these are all like the NATO symbols, of course. Like there's the ship is like the circle, and then like the missile will be different, as I'll show you in a minute here. But yeah, this okay, and right there, yeah, the E2 Hawkeye takes off. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And right here, this is it. The model of it isn't too bad. I mean, yeah, it's a little not the greatest, but yeah, turn on its radar right there. He actually tells me that he's doing it. I have a submarine over there, and right here is a Ticonderoga class cruiser, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to launch a harpoon missile at that airship over there. As you can see, there's a missile launching from actually the specific point on the cruiser where the missile comes from, like it should. And right here, as you can see the missile trail. The missile's curving accurately and going down to its depth, and has a constant trail, and doesn't just magically appear in midair like it does in Naval War. Right there, I launched a few more harpoons at the enemy. Actually, oh no, wait, sorry, those were anti-ship Tomahawks. Those came out of the VLS, as you know. They actually came out of the vertical launching system rather than the harpoon pack. And then, again, all the missiles look different, and they have different speeds, and they're simulated well. I mean, and they look different, like they're different speeds and all that. I'm sorry, I already said that, but they have different models and all that. And in a minute, I'll show you the how the impacts and how the enemy intercepts them. Like, I'm sorry, in this, like originally in this video, I actually thought that this was an enemy intelligence vessel, because normally when I play this mission, it actually is an intelligence vessel, but apparently this time around it was actually a civilian oil tanker instead. So yeah, I sink an oil tanker. I'm a bad man. I'm sorry. I killed innocent Saudi oil man or whatever the fuck whoever the fuck they are. But I thought it was an intelligent vessel, because normally when I play this mission it is. So the missile will impact shortly here. As you can see, it comes out of a pop-up maneuver and boom, boom. There's an explosion, and it shows the enemy's damage level, and it's pretty good. Like the missile is simulated well in a pop-up maneuver and all that. And yeah, so the missile will about to hit right here. I know that those are Russian backfire bombers launching long-range missiles at me. I know that for a fact because I've played this mission a billion times. And these are the Tomahawks are about to impact. As you can see, it shows it right there, and boom, I blew it up. Yep, I sank the oil tanker. I'm the greatest person on Earth. That evil oil tanker will never threaten anybody again, ever. And right now, there's a bunch of shitload of incoming enemy shipwreck missiles. And in this game, the AI does a very good job of intercepting missiles automatically. Like, you'll use as many missiles as you can and accurately intercept them. But actually, this mission apparently it had a bug in it, and the missiles, the AI was not acting correctly in intercepting the incoming missiles. Like as you can see, there's like a shitload of them there, and then the missiles are individually modeled rather than in groups. So right there, he's launching the missile, the SM2s, to intercept them, but they're going into the water, and that is not the game's fault. I'm not gonna say that's the mission's fault. I'm sorry. So right in a minute here, I will show I'll switch footage over to like a different. But as you can see, like the missiles come out of different VLS cells. They travel like a realistic path to try and intercept the incoming missiles as best as they can. And in my opinion, it's just I don't know. It just seems a little way more fluid this game than Naval War. Like it's just the animations are there. It's just more fluid. The missiles take off properly and do their job. I don't really have to micromanage a whole lot because good luck trying to right-click on each one of those incoming missiles individually, getting each one to intercept accurately. I mean, that's almost fucking impossible. That's why the U.S. Navy developed Aegis for you. Anyway, get right here. As another mission is where there's a bunch of enemy anti-ship boats really close by, and they're launching Sunbird missiles. Right here, my John Paul Jones is launching his SM2s and Phalanx as fast as it can, but it can't stop the Sunbirds, unfortunately. And boom, he got hit, and he got sunk. So I lost the John Paul Jones, early bird class. But as you can see, he tried as hard as he could. He used his Phalanxes, his SM2s, a shitload of them as fast as he could, and tried genuinely as hard as he could to intercept the incoming missiles, which in Naval War that happens, but sometimes you have to order it yourself and it just gets confusing and whatnot. So right here again, my Ticonderoga class is launching those SM2s as fast as he can, the incoming missiles. It looks pretty sick. Like, I mean, when you have this happening here, it's pretty fast paced, so it gets pretty ridiculous when you're trying to intercept like all these fucking anti-ship missiles at once. It's pretty intense. Because knowing that, like, I mean, like, yeah, if you're like a commander of this group and you're the guy doing this right now, and knowing each one of these ships is like, I don't know what, 1,000 or 1,500 men on it or whatever. As you can see, that's an SSN-9 Siren missile, accurately modeled. Like, knowing that each one of these ships is like 2,000 men on it or whatever, and then if one dies, all those men are fucked, is pretty intense. And I mean, I don't think this is really all that different than like what the carrier commander, the battle group commander would be seeing on the screen, or the CIC officer in any one of these ships. Aegis vessels. So yeah, I'm trying to shoot down as many missiles of those missiles as I can. And I'm launching the SM2, which are all realistically modeled. All the missiles in the game have their own model. And there's I think that's the Ronald Reagan. I could be wrong, but from what I see, I think it's the Ronald Reagan. Yeah, and then I'm engaging those are the missile boats which destroyed my poor John Paul Jones and those poor American sailors on them. I'm launching harpoon missiles at them, and yeah, here they go. They're leveling up to their correct height, coming from the launcher like they should be. In a minute here, I think I'll launch an aircraft from the Ronald Reagan to help out. Yeah, oh yeah, and there's the weapon arcs. Like I know, like in real life, the Ticonderoga cruiser has 2 harpoon packs. One is 4 missiles facing one direction, and 4 missiles facing port, 4 missiles facing starboard. But in this game, in order to use the other 4 missiles, the ship has to turn at least like a certain amount in order to get the other missiles within gimbal range or like within limits. Because you can't just launch the missile and expect it to do like a 100 degree tilt. You can't do that. So actually, has to maneuver. And right here, the missile's doing a pop-up maneuver, and as you can see, the enemy shooting his Gatling guns and missile, and boom, shoots me down. And there's the missile turning into shrapnel, and is shot down like accurately, like it should be right here. Boom, 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 boom. And right there, it was shot down. So as you can see, that shrapnel doesn't just disappear and hang in midair like it does in Naval War. It doesn't do anything stupid like that. And then again, these missiles are launching from the correct position on the frigate, or the cruiser, sorry, and moving towards the designated target. Yeah, and then I go, yeah, right here I'm launching aircraft from the Naval. Again, I think I take off, or well, yeah, a minute anyway, sorry. But, yeah, so, and it shows you all the weapons there, and in my opinion, Fleet Command's HUD is just a lot easier to use. Everything is just right-click to do everything. It's a lot more intuitive, and it's a lot more, like, I don't know, it just seems to flow down. Right there, it's a harpoon that comes off the middle of the Spruance class destroyer, like where the missile tag is mounted in real life. And not just magically come off with some stupid animation like it does in Naval War. And again, all of this, 2006 game, or 1999 if you want to look at the original, 13 years, and this game is better, in my opinion, than Naval War. And that game is brand new in 2012, and it still can't implement this shit from a game from 1999. Like, okay, like why? Why could it not have that? Is it like a budget reason? Okay, if it's a budget reason, I understand, but there's just some things that I expect from a game, and this game does everything, mostly everything, a lot better than Naval War does. Except, of course, Naval War simulates like the F-35 and more modern units in 2030, which Fleet Command only does up until about 2012. But the good thing about Fleet Command is you can simulate historical battles. Like, you can do battles from pretty much 1960 until about, or today, 2012, with various units from various navies and whatnot, like boom, right there, so like in the I think, or Tarantul. Yeah, so you can do from 1960 to 2012, whereas in Naval War, you're stuck in the 2030 fake-ass conflict, so. I mean, obviously most of these scenarios are fake, but you can actually simulate like real battles if you want. You can simulate like Gulf War 1991, or the Falklands War has a lot of scenarios in this game that you can actually reenact if you want, which is pretty cool. And there's a submarine. It looks pretty good. But yeah, you can simulate whatever you want in Fleet Command, really. There's a mission editor, which is another thing that I should expect from Naval War. Like, that game is a mission editor, where I can put all these units and make my own missions with various units from various navies and do whatever I want. But nope, that's something that Naval War just doesn't have, and it really pisses me off, because I could just make whatever scenarios I wanted to, and I can't. So right here, I'm climbing an F-18 Hornet to its altitude instead of just going upwards magically like it does in Naval War. Like straight up, I mean, in this game it actually, like, you know, travels to an altitude like a real plane does. And I'll show you the plane missile launching animation in a second to compare it to Naval War. Yeah, right there, it launches the missile. I mean, yeah, that looks good. That's what an ancient missile should be when it's launched, instead of just magically appearing off of the plane. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like this game really should just have, or Naval War should just have a mission editor, and it doesn't. But at least in this game, I can pretty much do whatever I want when it comes to, like, making my missions. Right here, I'll show you a quick clip from Dangerous Waters. This is a simulator in which you command, like, an all-over hazard parry or a single unit rather than a fleet. And this is from 2006 as well. And look at how good these graphics are. Look at this. Like, this is 2006. This game. Like, and it's pretty damn good. It has music and voices, and everything is very realistically modeled. And again, 2006. So right here, I'm just too lazy to show you like how to detect the ship like you would have to in real life. And just decided to launch a harpoon off the forward rail. So right there, I launch it. Pretty similar to Fleet Command. Looks pretty good. It comes up, run down like that. But this game is not. You can't really compare it to Fleet Command or Naval War, because you only in this game you only command a single platform. It can be a submarine, a frigate, or a P-3 Orion, or like a helicopter. That's basically it. And but they're very realistic model. Like you can do the sonar guy, or you can be the weapons guy. And you have to actually use all the sensors like you would have to realistically in real life. But it's not really the same type of game. It's not fair to compare them, but I'm just saying the graphics of this game are really good. And then you can, like TC right there, EW, and you'd have to detect the ship with the sensor and use like all this, and it's extraordinarily realistic. And you can like simulate a single submarine really, really well, like the sonar of like a ship. You'd have to detect it and like match sonar contacts and all this crap, and like make everything realistic, and like implement a firing solution into your torpedo. So it gets really, really hardcore, if it wasn't pretty hardcore already. But anyway, that's my review comparing these 2-3 games, and in my opinion, I think Naval War is a really good game that has a lot of potential, but is seriously lacking in a lot of regards, in my opinion. But Fleet Command is an older game, but it does everything very, very well. But again, Naval Warfare, the developers pay a lot of attention to the game and will improve the game over time, I'm sure. And there will be mods and patches for the game, but Fleet Command, I think, does a very, very good job. And the choice is yours, which one you want to buy. They're both the same price, $20 on Steam. But in my opinion, I think Fleet Command does a lot of the things better. And then Dangerous Waters is, again, a third niche game if you want to give it a try. But yeah, so Naval War has a lot of potential, and it's a decent game, but it has a lot of things that I would expect from a game in 2012 that it lacks. So it's up to you which one you want to choose, and I hope, yeah, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this informative video from me today. I know it's very long, but yeah, I'll have more videos up about War Game and Men of War Condemned Heroes shortly. So I thank you for watching. Have a good day.